Hello. Hello friends, welcome back for Ethereum technical analysis. We've got the 24-hour chart up behind us. You can see that the 21 EMA is coming in there at our target of 230 towards the downside. And just as a quick reminder for people who watched the Bitcoin video, one of the biggest takeaways from it is that this has finally managed to reach up. The yellow line there with 21 EMA is finally reached up to like our sort of little one of our crucial areas, an inflection point in the market. So we finally have a little bit of confluence, So should we see the prices break down below this area, then they'd also be breaking down below the 21 EMA. Of course, we've already experienced that recently and found a sort of a rejection from that back up into the symmetrical triangle area. I think that there's plenty of room left in this if it wants to keep on going for a while more. So we'll have plenty more opportunities to say that this is boring in terms of trading if you want to. But we're looking towards the right here. This has got like, if you call that 20 bars, then we're sort of 12 bars in. So you'll be 3/4 of the way in the next few days. So over the next wee while, I could expect to see some sort of breakout potentially from this thing here. And if that was the case, then perhaps, is this the measured move? This is a little bit generous, I feel like, but nevertheless, that could take you all the way down to these lower targets like 225, as we've seen already in the recent past. Or it could indeed take you up towards their higher up targets. Now, we've been talking about this for a wee while, but of course you have the upper end of this channel that we've been in for the longest time as the first area for resistance. Well, actually, no, the first area for resistance really is the 256 and 260s type prices, of course. But should this take another couple of days to happen, then go on up, then you're looking towards the mid 260s, and that's where this measured move would take you. Now, if you did break out above this area at around about this price time, then you've got a confluence of of downward price action lines. Go to the weekly chart and zoom in. You can see our weekly trend line, this white one that going down the way. Go to the 24-hour chart again, would be in around this area of 263. So breaking above there, you could then look towards a channel breakout, and that would measure move and take you up towards the 300s. I'd be more concerned about other prices on the way up though in terms of profit taking, and certainly would want to manage positions in around 275, 280 area, in this general sort of zone. Really, first off as well to be mentioned is that the 254 is where we have our previous sort of high at, and that's where our 0 point is on the Fibonacci retracement. So anything higher up and then continuing on the trend here, just from a speculative point of view, would say the prices come up to this area and then retrace down towards the bottom of before again, and we're still inside this channel. It's just part of this longer term picture that we've been drawing on here. Then you start to get the 236 Fibonacci sort of, to make a valid one, coming in at areas where, if you could have so the prices turn around at the mid 260s, don't get as high as the previous high over there, and then start to go down the way, then you'd have a downward trend on the weekly in terms of that being your previous high and this one being a lower high, and then you could be looking towards fairly shocking breakdowns of price towards the sort of 182 area and stuff like that, and then 177, 167 thereafter. But that's really what we're looking at in terms of this. This is just sideways price action. I'm not going to look at it in terms of 24-hour type timeframes for divergence. In terms of the 4-hour time frame, low, high, higher low, higher high. So in terms of 4 hours, what we got on the go here, this higher high is it just managed to skip by the skin of its teeth in terms of not being divergent since the head of our so-called head and shoulders, which didn't really play out, or it did actually. It played out well enough, and that's what led to the 224 movement down the way, and there's profit taking targets in there. Quick reminder to folk. There, it didn't quite go to the sort of down to 208 though, so suppose I'm a bit silly saying that it did play out fully. Of course it didn't, but we don't look at it like that on this channel anyway. Stretch this back out again, and we were always bearing in mind these profit taking lines in here, so it's went to them, and that's great. But still, is it still on in general? Well, yeah, it is. And the symmetrical triangle here does more or less measure up with this, so the psychology of this, despite the fact that we're now long past it really already in terms of the 4-hour time frame, still kind of applies, and breaking down below that area could easily see us coming down towards the bottom of the channel at these crucial areas, like for instance the 200 simple on the 4-hour time frame, so those sorts of things, like as so often do get tested again and again, that could happen. That would obviously be interpreted by the market as a massive shock. You'd be looking at this and saying, is this a reversal pattern then for this overall upward movement and whatever else, and be looking towards these other areas. breaking down below this would be quite negative, and you could then easily anticipate those lower targets of the sort of 177 and all the rest of it happening. At the minute, though, we're still deciding where we're going to go, and there's still trading to be had on either side of this. And of course, in the meantime, you can trade within this if you want to. I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice, but you could be taking shorts with fairly easy to manage risk in terms of just using this symmetrical triangle at the 250 area, and of course taking profit on them at the 240 area for a $10 move there, if you wanted to, in terms of that, and that's fine if that's what you're doing in the meantime. But we're still just going to have to wait and see how this all pans out. Is this hidden bullish divergence in here, like we were speaking about the other day? Yeah, possibly. How much did that play out? Well, it took us up as high as the top of the thingy, and then ultimately we fell back down again. No, there's nothing really going on here. It's just sideways price action. We have to wait until things actually break out one way or the other. Looking towards Bitcoin, I suppose, in terms of this one. Yet again, they stop their signal right outside the window, because they just want to let me know they're coming. Yeah, so we're just having to wait for this to break out. I don't know what I was saying there. It distracted me. It's doing it again. But yeah, we're just looking towards the 21 EMA. If it breaks down, we're looking towards Bitcoin. That was it. If we look towards Bitcoin for information about how things go, we can maybe get a signal from Bitcoin if this breaks out one direction or the other, or we could get a signal for Ethereum if Bitcoin breaks out one direction or the other in the near future. I do feel like this is in terms of the emotions right now that people are experiencing, this green upward line, this purple downward line as your pattern means that we're getting really extended into it, and it really ought to break soon. In the grand scheme of things, that really quite easily what could happen is just a continuation within this larger pattern here in the CME charts of 8,950. Like that would be so simple, so easy. That's really what my Bitcoin video should have just been earlier on, I suppose, probably. And the same thing applies here. Well, we could easily have a breakout here towards the top side, fair enough, easy peasy. Various targets up there for profit taking and whatnot. You can manage that as well, just at that 240 area or 250 area yourself if you're looking to try and play that. I'm not a financial advisor, that's financial advice. And likewise, towards the downside, you could just see it coming down towards the bottom end of this channel and then asking questions about the bigger macro picture, having put in a sort of a lower high here with this right hand shoulder and a lower low as well, which is how these head and shoulder things often pan out in the bigger picture. And that's really going to do us for today. Great, thanks so much for tuning in, really do appreciate it. If you share this video with a friend, if you've got one that you think would like it, then I think you're amazing. If you watched it all the way through till now, well then you're doing the channel the best service you could possibly do. If you're already subscribed and you hit the like button and you watch the video through to now, then I owe you a genuine thank you. I really do appreciate it. It helps the channel grow an awful lot. So thanks so much, and I'll catch you in the next episode.